Headlines like that one can be very misleading, is what I was going to talk about this week, until this happened. Next week, I'll get back into talking about clickbait and misleading headlines, and I lied. This headline isn't at all misleading. A bad hair day could actually derail your entire life. If you've been anywhere near Facebook or Twitter or social media in general in the last couple of years, I'm sure you've seen celebrity haircuts that have broken the internet. A phrase which means a lot of people talking about something that's really popular on a network, which is the point of the internet. Anyways, both Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus had seemingly world-ending, for some, haircuts. It was a more innocent time when we didn't know how far Miley could Miley, which is now a word. Says me. And maybe we're lucky that we get to tweet in support or hate of Miley's new do, because reportedly in 2014 in North Korea, Kim Jong-un decreed that all male university students must have the same haircut as him. You know the one. Yes, that one. I presume that's just out of demand, as I imagine all the female university students in North Korea are quite infatuated with his holiness, or whatever we're supposed to call him. Prior to this, there were 28 state-approved haircuts in North Korea, 18 for women and 10 for men, all of which look like they're off the wall from a supercuts from the 80s, which I guess is really all supercuts, so it's not that different. Supercuts is a discount Canadian hairdresser. It's not where this happened. But this wouldn't be the first time haircuts have been used for control. During the 6th century in Paris, widowed Queen Clotilde became the center of her sons Lothaire and Childebert's plot for power. Lothaire and Childebert were jealous of the queen's grandchildren and heirs, not heirs, and executed a plot to kidnap the princes. They sent henchmen to their mothers with a sword in one hand and a pair of scissors in the other, offering their mother an ultimatum: see the boys killed or cut their hair short. She chose the sword. That's not a joke. Let's back up a little bit. In the time of the Merovingian dynasty, hair was of utmost importance. The Merovingian kings, who had established themselves in the ruins of Gaul, were commonly referred to as the long-haired kings. For them, long hair was a symbol of aristocracy, and they believed their hair to contain magical properties. Tradition dictated that the hair of a king should never be cut, but their servants' hair were not permitted to grow. So back to the ultimatum. Lothaire and Childebert were offering their mother, Queen Clotilde, the choice between her grandsons not being royalty anymore or dying. She condemned her grandsons to die rather than see them live as common folk. However, this long-haired dynasty wouldn't last much longer, and it was Charlemagne and the dawn of the Carolingian Empire that would see the fall of long hair. For the time being. The last Merovingian king, Childeric III, wasn't much of a king. His life was reduced to traveling around his kingdom in a cart pulled by oxen. That is, until the Carolingians came by with the backing of the church and cut off his hair, effectively ending his rule and the significance of long hair. Worst hair day ever. This isn't a unique case. Many different people at different times and different places in the world have drawn heavy associations between long hair and power. In the medieval era in Ireland, short hair was used to identify slaves and servants, whereas long hair in general in Germanic societies was seen as the sign of a free man.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
In men, long hair was used in Irish epics to denote warriors, and in women, fertility. Long hair was even protected by the laws of the Anglo-Saxons, among many more. The laws of King Alfred dictated that cutting off the beard of another would yield a fine of 20 shillings, and the Burgundians had heavy fines associated with cutting the hair of a free woman. On the short hair side of things, the Romans loved them some short hair, as they saw it as a sign that they were in control. And when the Roman Empire fell and the Carolingian Empire rose, hair tolerancy remained pretty good. But when the Carolingian Empire fell in post-millennial Europe, people turned on long hair on a dime. The Archbishop of Canterbury at the time refused to give his blessing to any man who, quote, grew their hair like girls. And 2 years later, the church decreed that no Christian man should grow their hair long. In the 1640s, after the Manchus conquered China, they forced all of the adult men to shave the top of their heads and tie the back into a long braid. This served as a means to assimilate all of their new subjects, as well as a test of their loyalty. Around the same time in Russia, Peter the Great was attempting to modernize the country by getting rid of beards. He did so by instituting a beard tax, which, if paid, rewarded the payee with a copper or silver coin inscribed with, "The beard is a useless burden." I'm not sure how that gets rid of the beard, but whatever. Though by the 1970s, Albania would actually eliminate beards. Though this time it was out of racism instead of silliness. Albanian dictator Enver Hoxha outlawed beards in an attempt to curb the influence of Islam, which wouldn't be the first hair-related incident in the history of Islam. In 1996, after the Taliban took control of Afghanistan, they forbid all men from shaving their beards. And more recently, in 2004, the former president of Turkmenistan went on national television and declared that young men were no longer allowed to grow their hair, facial or otherwise. Everyone's out banning and forcing beards on people, and I'm just sitting here only able to grow hair under my jaw. People try to control people through their hair because hair is such a controllable aspect of the human body. You can dye it, wear it up, down, short, long, braided, curly, knotted, Bieber, Cyrus. With very simple changes, it can represent everything from freedom to oppression to individualism to socialism, and because of this, people have been killed, oppressed, liberated, and defined, all because of their hair. Which is probably why I'm so frustrated that mine got so unceremoniously lopped off. What do you guys think? Can your hair define you? And if so, could a bad hair day ruin your life? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, be sure to click on this terrible haircut to subscribe, or at least think about it.